And every day we're getting stronger. As strong as the rhythm of time. And this time I'm so glad to say I got it right. Yeah. I'm so happy you're the one who found my heart. I can see your love light shine. The way you look at me, you make me feel so free. Made a better life for me. You're the one that I live my whole life for. And I'm so grateful to God for connecting the moon and stars. His brilliance led the way to where you are. And now our love is like the sunshine that helps me grow. And I'm not afraid to hold on, not afraid to let go. And I never knew love like this. Yeah, if I had just one wish, it'd be to share this feeling with the world. I'm so happy you're the one who found my heart. I can see your love light shine. The way you look at me, you make me feel so free. Made a better life for me. You're the one that I live my whole life for. I'm so happy you're the one who found my heart. I can see your love light shine. The way you look at me, you make me feel so free. Made a better life for me. You're the one that I live my whole life for. Got it right this time. I can see your love light shine. Oh, feels good, real good. Feels good, babe. You are the one that I so free. You know me, baby. You made my life don't never change. This love is so much. I know that you're so
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Candy B, and I am the creator of Poetry Where Creativity Speaks, the podcast. I am a multi-passionate creative and entrepreneur, and I started the show to serve as a platform for DMV-based artists to come and share their art, share their story, and to encourage and inspire others. And I am super excited about the show today. Oh my gosh. We are going to have the lovely Miss Deborah Bond. And we are going to have our first guest poet, and her name is Miss Cheryl Nicole Prince. And of course, I am excited to be joined by my co-host, Mr. Kanara Cherry. Kanara?
Absolutely. I'm Kanara Cherry, a musician, producer, multi-instrumentalist. I'm looking forward to this interview with Deborah today because she's my longtime, I would call it my soul sister. We've toured together. We've done everything. We've made music. We've had arguments. We've done it all as it relates to just to bring good music and a good experience to those that come to the shows or came to the shows and those that purchased and bought the music and still listening to the music. So looking forward to that on today. But again, I'm honored to be here, Candy. And what did she call me? Her partner in crime as it relates to poetry and just bringing you good information and shedding light on the DMV as far as the talent that we have here.
Absolutely.
I'm going to kick it over to Rashida.
Hi, welcome. I'm Rashida. I'm a co-host with Kanara Cherry, and Candy B, of course. And so I'm here to interview the lovely Deborah Bond, and I'm just a entrepreneur. I'm a social artist with Blended Review, and I'm
Go ahead, Rashida. That was on me. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. 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 All Rashida. You want me to go ahead and do the interview, or
You can go ahead and kick it to Alita.
I'm kicking it. Oh, so I'm Rashida again. Let's try this again. I'm Rashida. I'm a co-host of I Am Poetry, and I am here with the lovely Candy B and Kennard Cherry, and I'm a social entrepreneur, and I do Blended Review podcasts, and I'm gonna kick it over to Alila.
Folks, we apologize. Alila is muted. We're going to do this again. It was a little difficult.
I apologize for that, everyone. Once again, my name is Alilaba, otherwise known as Ali. I am a poet, I'm a writer, I'm a designer, and just an absolute lover of creativity. And it's a great pleasure to be here today. Back to you, Candy.
Thank you. Okay, Kennard, we are going to get this little interview started. Let's go.
All right, Deborah, we're going to go ahead and have some fun here.
Let's have some fun.
All right. So first of all, so we played the video. You Are the One. Of course, I'm gonna jump around from on timelines here. So You Are the One. Tell a little bit about that in regard to just, again, the animation and what that experience was for you. And not only just two parts. So actually writing the song.
Yes.
Because we played the song together for years, and I've never asked what the inspiration was and that type of thing. Like, what was the inspiration for that? Then also with the video, how did the video bring like the inspiration to the song? I guess when you kind of put it in a visual sense, what was that experience with making that video? And also, I guess the experience of making the song and then making the video.
Well, the song really came from the brain of Funky Chuck Evans out of DC. It was really his idea he already came to me with the hook. He said he wanted a cosmic, fun, lovey song. And I also, I got to give some love to my sister, Akima Price, who is also out of Washington, DC. We had been doing some writing together on the first album, Day After. So Akima, Chuck, and I were writing, and we just really organically came up with the words and the vibe for that. It was very simple. It was really an easy song to create. When it came to the music video, because we had already had See You in My Dreams was out, and that video kind of really went in line with the lyrics, I thought to myself that it would be cool to have a video that didn't really feel the way, that didn't all the way fit with the lyrics, that kind of caught you off guard in some type of way. And Chuck and I went on a mission on Googling different folks, and asking, looking around for directors and people, different types of folks, and we found this site called freshkill.com, and Chuck was like, this is a really kooky creative duo here, we should check them out. The website has some really cool music videos, and we reached out to some folks, and it was really from I explained to a brother named Hilton Carter and Aaron Keeney, I explained that I wanted a cool music video for You Are the One, but I didn't want it to be a lovey-dovey kind of, I don't know, I didn't want it to be like See You in My Dreams. I wanted to have a different twist. And Hilton came up with this whole idea that we would put a twist on, Happy You're the One That Found My Heart. It would be, the story of a girl getting ready for a date, and everything around her was made out of paper. And by the time the video was over, her date was a person made of paper. She was the only thing human in her world. And in his world, he was the only thing paper. I thought it was the coolest, most cosmic, how you're going to pull this off kind of thing. I don't know if you remember when we first started figuring out what we were going to do. It kind of seemed unreal, right? It was like,
I mean, it was
a regular girl with that's some real special effects.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing we talked about it, but then I remember we shot that video in one day, from what I remember. So
a long day.
Yeah, and like you had the different outfits, and I mean, you were wide awake the entire time.
I love doing that kind of. I enjoy the all of the shooting. Like I enjoy that kind of thing. Like I enjoy the switching the looks, being in some kind of character mode. It was tiring. I remember at the end, I felt so bad for you guys. I mean, I have to give another big shout to Aaron Keeney out of Baltimore, Maryland. Aaron really, the idea for the music video came from one partner in the duo, and then he ended up getting busy doing some amazing stuff in LA and passed it on to Aaron Keeney, who happened to have been renovating his home, and told me that he didn't mind covering everything in paper because he was renovating it and he had his dad around and his girlfriend around, and they would help him do it. So when we arrived there, I was like, this is, he really did do it. It's like, it was the coolest thing. I felt like I was in a fun house. It was like, I think the viewers really didn't realize how a lot of that was not special effects. It was really things like your instruments and things covered in paper. And I felt like for the idea that I wanted the video not to really be like a traditional R&B I love you boy kind of, music video. I think that that team did such a great job of taking me out of that, like into a different little world with it. And it turned out to be probably our fan favorite at the time. Like everyone went crazy for it. VH1 Soul played it like every day. It was really like such a beautiful response to it, and kids could enjoy it, So
it's one of those experiences where, again, like you said, into the wee hours of the morning, because I know myself, Chuck, and we were downstairs actually dozed off.
Yep.
And it was like time for y'all to film. It was like 3:30 in the morning. So I'm like, okay.
Every time I see this one particular scene, I just remember you guys in front of a green screen, and it was like one of the last scenes that was shot. And I felt so bad for y'all. I was like, they just hung in there. You guys were like taking a little power nap, like sleeping on the downstairs. And then you got up and like, and you made it happen. That was a really cool experience. And
absolutely. And so in regard to the album that was on an album called Madam Palindrome. What now in regard to that project, what did that project actually mean to you, far as the statement that you wanted to make, as far as, with that album coming from the debut album, Day After? So Madam Palindrome is your second full length. Like, what were your thoughts on that project, and what did it mean to you?
Madam Palindrome, wow, that album meant a lot of things to me, because by the time we really got to putting that fully together, I was definitely getting more and more seasoned as a performer. Oh, do we have some guests want to jump in? I was seasoned as a performer, and we have been working really hard around town and in Philly and different parts of the US. And by the time we were going to, release this second album, I think there was a little bit more pressure to be strong and to show growth. And I think every artist goes through that, especially with their very second statement. So that album represents a lot of, what's the word that would, just a lot of perspective. That's really what the album was about. That album was about seeing things kind of in extremes, or one from one direction to another direction, but trying to find some commonality. I don't know. That album, to me, really set a beautiful, strong tone, because everything about it was so thought out, and everything about it was so clean and polished. And we just put so much thought into that album. It's just an album where I could tell as artists, I really did want to level up, or in some kind of way, or set some kind of standard, So I tried to, be as creative as possible in many different ways that I'd never done before. I was working in radio, so there was a little more of a budget to play with, and just it was. That's a strengthening album. I feel like that's the first word that really comes resonates, is it was a strengthening album. It was to show that we've developed some strength as a unit, myself and you and Chuck, and Robbie, and But it also, like, it really worked me. That album was, I was trying to be very ambitious with all those, stacking all those vocals and
Yeah.
doing that after getting off of work,
Mhm.
it was like so it did really build me up. It really like got me strong. And yeah, it's just gonna have a beautiful, magical place in my heart.
No, that's
So
good.
many,
That's some
so
good.
many
Yeah.
parts to it. Yeah.
Rashida, you got to unmute.
Okay, so I'm thanks for coming here and being here. I was looking at some of your music videos, and when I saw them, they all were so diverse, including I think the one on radio where you're in a building. And I
Yeah.
was wondering, when you're picking these different music environments, are you collaborating with individuals or like what take us through your like technique?
Ooh, so really, I am very inspired by directors, storytellers. I feel like I do that through the music. So I'm really inspired. I feel like inside there's a secret. I want to direct documentaries, or I want to tell stories. And so when I am approaching music videos, I really lead with them. Like, I want to give them that respect and that moment to take something from me and go with it. So every single video I've done, See You in My Dreams, except for one, Perfect. But most of my videos, I really come to the table. It's really about finding the human first, finding the documenter, finding the filmmaker, and getting an idea of who they are and what they can do visually and where they want to go with stories and visuals. Because they really have a big job to do as directors and writers. So I like to let them themselves into it. And most times, once you know how to kind of find your way through meeting directors and understanding what makes everybody tick and what works, you tend to gravitate to those that can bring your mind to life. So for me, it's really been all about them. I like love what they do. And so with radio, especially, this is a new director that I've just connected with in the last year or two. His name is T.L. Benton. He has a company called Mecca Filmworks. And he's just young and hungry. And he connected to me on a humble, like not way before the pandemic, but close. And he just, wanted to collaborate on some things. And I, sat him down and gave him the story of the album and even of my life, and gave him an idea of what kind of colors and tones and vibes I wanted. And he knew how to, he knew how to do it. Like, with radio, I really had no idea where we were going to go with that. I had a few, ideas, but TL was able to take some of the darkness that I wanted to show the world currently in my life, but not make the song feel like a drag or make the video feel like a drag. So he was able to take some performative. I wanted to feel like a B-girl, my 90s swag. It was like he got everything that I was into. He totally got it. And but he kind of started and ended the video with some really interesting, more artistic elements that he kind of did a great job. So it's all about them. And I have another visual with TL on the way. I'm looking forward to sharing that. He's a really talented brother, and he's young and hungry, and he's been working with Robert Glasper, Keon Harold, a lot of good folks. So yeah.
Okay, so I have some other questions. When I was looking at the video, I feel like you portray your spirit very well. Like, it's artistic, so much so that it's kind of hitting that part where you're crossing a platform of being an actor a little bit. Like, so not only are you portraying music, but you're showing acting. Have you ever thought about the acting world or doing a blend? Because now we have a lot of television shows where they do acting it with music. And
very true.
Yeah.
I've always thought about it because I used to do musical theater as a young person. I used to really be into it quite a bit. And I definitely would love to get back into that world. It's a whole nother universe. I've been so focused since I was, young on being like a lead R&B soul singer that I haven't really dove into it as much as I've wanted to, but I've definitely always had an interest in musical theater. I just recently did something that has been like a secret dream of mine that just came to life in the last maybe few months. I have to give a shout out to a beautiful, talented singer. Her name is Wayna, and she's Grammy nominated. We've been on the music scene together for many years, and she invited me to be a part of a parody that is called The Real Housewives of Zamunda. And it is a spinoff from Coming to America. It's just, she's getting into screenplay writing, comedy writing, and kind of in honor, or, as a little tag along to this new Coming to America, she had the idea of these housewives who were married to cats from Zamunda. And everyone has their own story, and the stories are hilarious. And she asked me to be a character. And so it's out now. It's a 7-minute pilot episode. And I've always wanted to do sketch comedy, like in living color type stuff, and like SNL. Like I'm really into really goofy, silly type acting and characters. And so I have to thank Wayna for like hitting me up and being like, would you like to try to do this? I got this idea. And it really came off great. So it is her name is Wayna, Wayna. She's an amazing vocalist, but now she's also a writer and director. And it's called Real Housewives of Zamunda. It just came out like a week ago, and I'm in it. And my character's name is Zebulon, and it's hilarious. I'm the only American character in the cast. So maybe I'm edging into acting a little bit. I don't know.
Okay, well, I definitely can see you doing that. And I would say that that you encompass a lot. Like, you not only do you have the look and the vibe, but you portray it with your eyes and your movement when you're like looking at the camera. I think you bring us into the camera with you.
Thank you. That's all my background. That's all the weirdo. No, not the weirdo on me, but I have been doing, I was an interesting kid. I liked a lot to try a lot of things by nature, or like just try things. And so by the time I was 10 years old, I always wanted to, I started entering these oration contests. I don't know what even made me do that at 10 years old, because I just somehow ended up taking oration contests on, and you would memorize, powerful speeches by, notables or excerpts from books and things. And I would win these contests. Like this little person, I would be competing against, I was in 5th grade competing against 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, and I would win. I loved engaging people and speaking to people even at that age. It was really strange to think about that, but that was what I was doing before I was even singing. And so I was singing kind of shy, secretly singing, but really doing a lot of public speaking or reading poetry. When I got to high school, I was reciting the last poets and shocking people at my Catholic school. So speaking into the camera, I studied broadcast journalism at American University. That's what brought me to DC. So I've always been really interested in relating to people, sharing stories, looking at you and talking to you. It's kind of a part of my personality that has been growing so much since even before college. So yeah, that's probably why.
Well, for my last question, before I turn it over to Alila, I would like to know how long, when your current music that you have, the album Compass, when I saw that it came out for 2021, how long did it take you to develop the music, and what's your favorite song on the album?
That's crazy. It took about 7-8 months to do. Literally at the end of 2019, I decided that I wanted to put together some kind of project. I didn't know it was going to be like 3 or 4 tracks, but I knew I wanted to release something. And once the pandemic came around, like March, I started trying to like acquire music from musicians and producers, just like quickly trying to figure out like if I was to put a project together, what kind of songs would be happening on that. And so I just ended up like, it was something that originally in my mind started out as on a whim, or like this will open a door for some other stuff later, but I'm just going to put like a song or two. I was really I didn't think it was going to take on the form that it did, but the universe does that. So I started really seriously figuring out that I had like at least 7 or 8 songs that I really liked from different producers around like April of last year. And I gathered my things, like this microphone that's right here. Literally, I sat where I'm sitting right now and would experiment at night with ideas and write. And I have a mixer and some studio monitors right over here on the side. And it literally was conceived and kind of like seriously crafted like in about a 6-7 month period. By last October, it was finished. And that's crazy to me because none of the musicians were in the same place or the same room or the same city. A lot of us were all in our homes stuck in quarantine. But yeah, it took about 7-8 months, which I've taken, months and months and years to write. So this is for me a very different thing and very exciting to me that it happened that fast.
That's awesome, Deborah. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the show, the sketch comedy. That sounds.
Please look it up, Real Housewives.
I saw a little bit of it, and it's funny because I saw the Coming to America too last night. So right on time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wayne is from Ethiopia, and so and she's been living in the DC, Maryland area performing for quite a while, but she is a proud, beautiful Ethiopian sister. So, this was, she knows this is her culture that she's kind of poking fun at, which is really, really cool. And at the same time, like she's an artist and she's been Grammy nominated and she's kind of poking fun at herself in her character. It's really well written and fun. And I was just happy she brought me along because that's like my first taste of doing something publicly so goofy. Yeah. So me, that's like, I'm Zebulon, the revolutionary that carries incense and crystals that I used to try to like, I don't know if it's, I don't want to say it on here, but just go check it out. It's quite interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, definitely will. And trust me, I'm into the goofy. I'm all about the goofy and the stupid funny.
Yes.
So actually we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
So tell us about that video, Deborah. Good God Almighty, I can't even. I'm trying to contain myself because the bass line is like everything to me. So I just learned it last night because I dug it so much. But
That's good old
but
Brandon
again,
Lane, man. Brandon
I,
Lane,
I,
the future.
I, I don't know if it's a thing. Such thing as like what Chuck used to say. What Chuck is a bass player for the production team, and he used to always say like when something get too funky, feel like your soul about to come out your body,
Yes.
type of thing. So yeah, tell us about the video. Tell us about the video. Yeah, so tell us about that video.
That's his TL Benton. That was his idea. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not used to that, but like it really, I was maybe a week or so before that video was done. Like I didn't know what we were gonna do. He just told me let's pick a location. We both kind of knew the aesthetic that we were going for, the vibe we were going for, but we didn't really. I had no idea. So this was all from the brain of TL Benton of Mecca Filmworks. He just had the idea. He knew elements that I wanted to incorporate because I felt like this was a head nodding, B-girl kind of feel good vibe. I wanted that to be conveyed, but I also wanted it to fit the storyline of what I've been kind of presenting over the last few weeks. And he just got it. So he said, he was the one that was like, I want this video. I think it should be a bit performative for you, which I never really do in a video. Like maybe in See You in My Dreams, we did a little bit of performing, but most of the time it's like a story of some kind. And so, and so he was like, I want you to do a little bit of performing. And then he had a last minute idea to take do some video shooting down below me where I live. And Compass is really about the finding my way in a time in my life that I am not a kid anymore. And I'm not, I'm in this midlife place and things are not easy. And then here comes this pandemic. And I wanted my fans to see a different side from this Madame Palindrome kind of brand that we created. I wanted it to feel more raw. And TL was like, well, then let's film you in this is, a garage here. It's like a little tree house in a garage. And so below me is like gritty. It's like dusty and it has bikes. And it has tools. And we filmed me sitting there with tools pouring out of my hand, like screws coming out of my locks. And I thought, that was like the most amazing thing. I got to give a shout out to my makeup guy, Ruben, who was there. And he was the one that recommended. I was doing all this stuff with all these like tools. And he was like, pick up the screws and let them fall from your hair. And then people, in the video, it looks like tears. But it's really like I wanted it to represent like quarantine and kind of screws falling out from my head, like being alone. And like, and TL he's that kind of bro. He could I could explain the energy and the mood of something. And he was like, so how about I do this thing at the beginning of your video and at the end, and you're kind of in the dark space and you're crying and, he's TL Benton, look him up too. He's done some great stuff with Robert Glasper and Keon Harrell and Kendra Foster. So that came from him. I got to give him all the props. I just did my job. I was like, okay, this is my part. I'm going to get up here and dance. Okay. Now I'm going to sit in the thing. I'm going to let it out. Make your magic. And he told my story in a very interesting way because, we didn't really even dip into what the song is about, really. Like the actual storyline. It could be about whatever you think about. But we just made it what we made it. So I kind of also enjoy leaving some form of like confusion or mystery. I'm definitely that type of personality that I like mysteries and things that you watch. And then when it's over, you're like, what?
That's the way music was before social media anyway. So
I'm a 70s baby. You know what I mean? I don't mind things a little strange and edgy and stuff. And that is also representing of this time of my life. So, TL did a really cool job of keeping it bright and feel good, but also adding the beginning and the ends of some harder stuff. So
gotcha. Well, I guess I got a question from Alilaba.
So I have to agree with everyone that the creativity in the videos is just totally on point. The camera work was really done well, and it just all blends together very, very nicely. And of course, you have a very beautiful voice.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. I'd like to ask, when did you decide that you really wanted to go into music, singing, and performing? And what challenges did you have along the way that like really helped to build you up and help you be where you are today?
I knew I wanted to sing since I was little, but I was so shy with it. Then I knew since I was like at least like 6 that I knew I enjoyed singing, and I knew that music did some kind of weird thing to me. I don't know. As a little person, I knew that when I would hear music, I would remember it instantly. I would pay attention to little intricate things back then that I now as an adult think, wow, like I paid attention to those sounds and as a little girl. So I knew I wanted to sing for a while, but it wasn't really until um, until college years for me, moving here to the DC area. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut. And when I was up there, I was really much more of an athlete. I was a runner and track and field and all that kind of stuff. And I would do musical theater as well, but I just wasn't like, I was writing songs since I was about 10 years old. I wrote my first like song with my friend, one of my good friends. We would like write songs together, but it wasn't really until college that I thought, well, maybe I could write a song and record the song and like put the song out and like do this. Like, what am I waiting for? And so being in DC, I have to say, like, DC really opened me up, because when I moved here for school, there was just such a live music sound. There was so many different types of sounds. There were places where you can go hear it. There was just people on the scene. So it really, DC kind of birthed that in me. I had always known I wanted to sing. And it helped the little dream kind of unlock, because it was easy to network and meet musicians here, because in New Haven, Connecticut, people think Connecticut, and it's where I'm from in New Haven, it's not the most suburban place. It's more like, it definitely didn't have a lot of emphasis on music programs and like learning instruments and things like, there weren't like, there's no Duke Ellington in New Haven. And so moving down here and being around so many people excited about playing instruments or just having a band, that opened me up. And so I knew, in my early 20s and once I met some musicians from here who were really serious, including Mr. Kennard Cherry being one of 3 of them, I really knew that I could pursue it for real and like go for it. So that's really what kind of planted the seed of get out there and start this journey. It's musicians of Washington, D.C., the people of this, and not even just in Baltimore. Those two, like, I just met great people and people that were like, yo, I want to be in a band. I'm like, oh, you do? Okay. I write some songs. You want to get up and work on some stuff? And,
Yeah, I love to hear that. I love to hear that, Deborah, because one of my questions has always been, can you make it as a singer in the DMV? Can you make it as a performer? What do you think about that?
I go back to the question that always comes up now, which is, what do you think making it is?
Okay.
I think that's such a relative question, because making it for some can be singing in a jazz club weekly and making a nice little bit of money and being known by the people in your area. And, like some people in there, that's making it to them. It really depends on what you want. You can do a lot in DC. DC isn't necessarily traditionally known as a music city. Some people have always thought of it more political, but the music scene has been thriving here forever. And it is kind of what you make of it, from my experience, because moving here at 17 from Connecticut, I don't know, the compass of life led me to musicians and people who are hungry for it. And so, but it has to be in you, and you have to have whatever idea that you feel is making it. You have to really want it, because then in essence, you can make it in DC. If you want it enough, you can be performing a lot. You could be networking a lot. There's all kinds of things happening and buzzing in this city to get involved in that. Yeah, you might not be a celebrity, but you'll be making it here, and you'll be walking into opportunities that are phenomenal that you would never think if you really do the type of work that you think you need to do to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear you say that, because I agree, on some level, and it does happen. It does correlate to what, like you said, what it means to make it.
Yeah.
In the area, and then just really being open to a lot of different opportunities, and not being wedded to how it's going to look.
Yes.
So
yes. You have to work. You do have to work to make it anywhere. You have to work, and that is, that's an individual personal experience with how much you work. But I've enjoyed my experience here. DC has really embraced me here. It is not easy in this time, and before even COVID. I have been here for 25 plus years to see, in all honesty, like what gentrification can do to certain areas or venues or places that had some real soul in them. So being here for as long as I have, doing music in particular, it's, venues have changed and things have changed. And that part makes it tougher for independent artists to thrive the way it was for me when I was just starting out here. It's a bit definitely different venues. Well, I had so many venues as a young person here to jump on stage and try stuff, end up opening for people I never thought I would open for. Like now it's getting a little different. It's, but it's still in my mind is about how you manage yourself and how you navigate through the city. And there's plenty of goodness here. So in many ways you can make it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I have a question. So,
yes.
You put a lot out there regarding the DC scene, and we see a lot. DC is normally known, I agree with you, as a political scene, but a family member who's from this area told me, James Brown used to come up and down, the alternative Route 66. We had Marian Anderson on the, Lincoln Memorial, and I'm just wondering, and I see your niche. I saw when I was, looking at your background, and for the people who don't know a lot about you, these new fans of yours, I saw you were at the Strathmore. I saw that, you did MTV, I guess the live or independent scene. So what do you've hit a lot of different elements of the music scene for DC. Very different, like the Strathmore is a great venue to play at. But what venues do you see were lacking, and what venues do you see yourself playing at, or that you would like to play at in this area?
I don't ever, I don't want to ever say anything was lacking. I will say in the more current, the last 2 or 3 years, the culture has been lacking in certain avenues where, I've had a lot of venues approach me to perform and really want a kind of bar singer, cheap money, sing long hours kind of a thing, which that wasn't that way when I was back in the day. I don't really want to, really blast any venues, but because I feel like there's so many that I feel so personal and intimate about that I love. I really enjoyed moments that I've had at Bohemian Caverns, and I enjoyed moments that I had at the 930 Club, and Birchmere in Virginia. And so this area has had just some great spaces to do things. I just think lately the culture has it's lacking, and it's like it needs to just like give the up and coming a space where they can make a little money and do their art, like present themselves, not sitting in a room where you're singing a bunch of cover tunes. I think that that's turned into a big thing where you just have a big party in a club and everybody's singing covers and it's kind of loud and there's no paying attention to the performance and there's no ticketed thing happening. So people don't necessarily have to listen. So that's where, and right up until the stop of the world, that's what I was starting to get a bit frustrated about in the area, that some of the places were a little driven by getting a lot of people in a room, party scene with a band being loud. Like I want people to see me tell my story, you know, and I want people to listen to the instrumentation. And so that those opportunities were changing in this area. Hopefully when the world opens back up, maybe the love and the desire for that will come back.
I could agree. I feel like we're seeing this virtual world come on board, and we're seeing now virtual performers where you're in an isolated room, so you're paying for a ticket and you're having to pay attention, or not having to, you're choosing to, right?
Yes, yes.
We're choosing that performer, and we choose, okay, this is the experience I'd like to get out of it. So I feel like this I guess different trend that we're seeing here of the physical and the virtual is kind of ebbing people more towards those kind of experiences.
I'm with you on that. Yep. Yeah.
I'd love to see you at your next performance, and I'll be one of the first ticket buyers.
Thank you. I can actually really announce today that there will be a virtual experience coming, and Kennard's going to be on it rocking with me on the 19th of this month. I'm going to do a celebration of the new music. It's going to be a full-on concert, and it will be really nice because it will be ticketed, and it will be folks that are just showing up to see what I'm going to do. So that's on the 19th of this month. So
awesome.
Ticket sales will be happening in the next day.
That's wonderful. I'm excited about that. And I just have to tell you, congratulations on Compass. It is absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I love the video, and I did have a couple of questions about the song. Like, there's another video, I think, when you're in there's another video where you're wearing a crop top, black crop top, and you've got these black pants that have these I guess they're buckles.
Oh,
I love the concept about how, at first it's going forward, then you're moving backward.
Oh, the trailer. It's a trailer.
Yeah, the trailer. So I'm like, where did she get those pants?
Yeah. I will proudly tell you that there's this online store called Akira.com, Akira. And their stuff is cute. And I am like a fashion junkie. It's a bit of a problem. And I found those. I've been, I love fashion. And I definitely have had a direction that I've been wanting to go with this new Compass brand and style. And so when I found those, they weigh a lot. They're very heavy. The buckles are very heavy on them, Jones. They are heavy. Like, I can get a little workout on them. So and that was fun to, I knew that when I walked, they would kind of rattle, and the director for that video, his name is Eric Bailey. We just, that was yet again, like kind of a little bit of a journalistic thing I wanted to try, where I made my own mix of the album with no vocals. I just took instrumental parts of each song and did a DJ blend of them. And then I had a concept of me walking around U Street, me standing in alleys, me in places that are not really the prettiest places, but kind of almost doing like a meditation or like a deep breathing where it looks like I'm manifesting something. And I had all these weird ideas. And I found a director who was down to try it with me. And then another young lady, Megan Sims, who's amazing, who edited it for me. And she decided to make the thing go forward and backwards. And I wanted to play on going from color to black and white. And just wanted to give you the energy of the record. So they were bared with me. I walked around U Street very wildly. It was quick, and I tried to do it when no one was around, but I didn't wear a mask. I was just out there, and I was like, I want to get the intensity of U Street right now. So I did that, maybe I filmed that last fall. And just decided to chop it up and use it as a teaser for the album. So that was.
I love it. I love the concept.
Crazy moment.
And I can tell you, like, black and white seems to be your color scheme.
For now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I had another question about radio, and when you're performing at Strathmore.
Yes.
You add in "I Know This Much Is True" by Spandau Ballet, and I love that part. And I was wondering, how did that come about?
That came about from the actual song, a combination of that, writing that song and wanting, I used to DJ back in the day and attempt to DJ. It was fun, but I'm not like the dopest, but I was definitely more about setting the soundscapes, like, but in my heart, I've always wanted to like really get good at scratching. And so if you really listen to the actual track of Radio, there's this little part in the second, they call it B section, pre-chorus. It's I say, let's do what's best for us and write a classic love song for the radio. And during that section, I sing, I know this much is true. And I did it because I heard like, I thought like if I was a DJ, I would actually blend those together. So I sing it in the song, but nobody ever catches it. But then so yeah, that's a good stand-up catch. I'm glad you like that.
I love that song, and
I'm such an '80s kid, so I'm glad you said that because I thought I should just sing it. Like it's a good mashup. So I just thought, yeah, let's since it's in the song and people don't really peep it, mash it up into the, at the end of it and have some fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and listen to that again. I mean, I already listened to it. Like, I'll do it again, and I'm gonna catch that.
Yeah, I have a whole little Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis moment with the end of that. Whenever those last few live experiences I had, I've been singing a little bit of Spandau Ballet, but then I sing a little bit of a If It Isn't Love. It fits over that groove a lot too, which is
I like that.
Addition, so go down a little memory lane.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I mean, you mentioned like Shaka Khan and some other singers, typical or traditional R&B singers that are awesome. And I was wondering who is some other non-R&B artists that you love, that maybe influenced by, because Spandau Ballet, that's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's,
that's different.
The 80s, that's like all about that. I mean, like I really love Annie Lennox. I love the Universe.
Oh, yes.
I love Seal. I like so much stuff. It's kind of nuts. I am a true 80s kid. I do love like Journey and Heart and Fleetwood Mac and Joni Mitchell. And I love groups like Massive Attack out of London and Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
It's like I can just go on and on. I love music and any given day. I've really just been studying a lot more Sarah Vaughan and her stylings and the new singer, Cecile McLaurin-Salvant. I think I pronounced her name right. I'm like addicted to her voice, and Jasmine Horn, who's an amazing up and coming jazz vocalist. So I'm just listening. Everything. Parliament Funkadelic. They're not, they're not really traditional. Grace Jones, I just, dig it all.
I love it. Eclectic taste. Yeah, right here. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Deborah, time is winding down. Just want to thank you for being on the Poetry Podcast. Thank you for bringing your good energy, good music, and sharing some insight. You are I would say, an encyclopedia of music because you have such a database. And again, like we used to do shows and you would throw lyrics to other songs over top of it, like what we're already playing, those types of things. So again, that's a level of creativity. One, I can't wait till the world open back up so we can actually get to see everyone else get to see what I already know as far as like how powerful of a performer you are. And I, watched your growth, and I'm super proud of you and what you're doing. And I wanted to just say, what is one thing that you can say to some artists? Let's say, the things that you learned during COVID. You did this album in 7 to 8 months. What is one piece of advice you can give to that singer or that artist that's sitting there saying that they can't do it?
You can really do many things. If you really want, you can do many, many, many things. But it does take a kick in the pants and a little spoon of no fear and just going for it. But I sat in this room and recorded an album. I'm not tech savvy. You can always ask for help. Help is around for most of us. And you have to just be willing to look, seek, and be a sponge. You can do whatever you want to do. It's quite a beautiful thing, but it takes a certain level of eye of the tiger determination. And that's what it's all about. Like, that'll show you what you're made of. Yeah. So
Gotcha. And there was one.
No fear. That's really the biggest thing. You got to just go for it.
Yeah.
Fears will be the biggest slam in the face. Blockage is fear. Just fear. Once you get over that, just try it. Push. Be surprised what happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had one question that came from was that YouTube or Facebook? Asked what was from Facebook. What was the inspiration for Smolder?
Smolder came from a conversation with a dear friend about my energy lately, with how I've been presenting myself.
Yeah.
A little darker edged, a little, shaved heads, a little. Not so, now, Kennard, you know probably the most of any of them, like, Debo, on stage going crazy with the bright yellow bell bottoms on, and now it's like, I'm a bit old, I'm getting older here and life is getting real. So we had a conversation about my energy being a bit smoldery, and I decided to I heard this track from Brandon Lane. He was just playing a bunch of stuff for me, and I stopped him on this one, was like, ooh, And I just had the idea of trying to express, when you get a little older, you cross over the 40s, you get as a woman, especially, you have to come to terms with everything about your body, everything, you come to terms, you got to love yourself. And sometimes, in your 20s, you want to try so hard. And there's a time in your life, I think everybody gets to it, where you just calm down and you like, there's something intense and enchanting about that. It's kind of smoldery. It's like, if you're known, people have called me energetic and bright and fiery and this and that. And I'm like, if you're known for that and you just want to hone that down, just smolder a little bit, chill, grow. You don't have to overdo it. You can without trying.
Deborah, on that note, and I know you have to go, but if I may, Smolder is one of the sexiest songs ever.
I am into that. So people are too. I'm loving it.
Yes, I'll tell you what, that's something else.
Shout out to Alshon Bryant, who is an up and coming vocalist. As he used to be my voice student, and he turned into a good friend. And he also choreographed Kennard. We did a show at the Howard Theater. We did this whole I Know Karita, Quincy Jones thing. He choreographed and danced with me at the Howard Theater at one of our biggest shows of our career. And now we're writing songs together. He's a beautiful spirit. His name is Alshon Bryant. Sean B. Experience is his stage name. Look him up. And he co-wrote that with me. I was like trying to explain to him what I was trying to say. And he came up with that. I know you like that. I was like, ooh, I know you. Okay. Yeah. So shout out to Alshon too for helping, me bring that sexy, smoldery energy to life.
Nice.
Yeah.
And before you go, what is the message that you want to put out in the world?
That we're all connected and we're all human beings. And no matter what we do or say, we all are the human race. We're connected and we need each other, and we can give each other goodness. So for me, it's usually through things that I sing and write and say. And that's the message that I'm just going to try to push on. Like every song, everything, like my whole conversation, whatever it is usually, it's rooted in some kind of wanting to connect with you, wanting to help understand you and you understand me, and we could just be cool to each other and, slightly harmonious, but yet different, have our own edges and have our own, what we can be, we can hone an energy with that. So,
yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is great questions, great conversation. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kennard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Deborah, so I guess this will be goodbye for now. And
Let's do it again. There'll be more to talk about soon about that Keystone Corner.
Absolutely. And so, Candy, I'm going to kick it over to you for our next segment.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for the portion with Deborah Bond. That was awesome. She's amazing. She is amazing. Check out that awesome album. And right now we're going to switch over to our new segment called Poet to Poet. And Miss Alilaba is going to be heading that. So stay tuned.
Hey, this is Cheryl Nicole, and I'll be reading my poem titled Queen. Sometimes your crown becomes shifted or twisted sustains chips, cracks, stings, and dents, may even become bent. Yet it remains intact and affixed, a testament of your strength. Daughter of a king, you reign supreme. You are queen, holding everything together when you feel like you're falling apart. Queen, you're truly a work of art, a masterpiece indeed, given tirelessly, loving selflessly, doing it all with a smile on your face while struggling to hold your crown in place. Daughter of a king, you reign supreme. You are queen. What was meant to break you shaped you. What was meant to fold you molded you. What was meant to bend you mended you. Still here, still standing, presence ever so commanding. Can't help but shine, you're divinely sublime. Daughter of a king, you reign supreme. You are queen. Live out loud, live boldly, live purposefully, live wholly. Always look heavenward from whence your help comes, the mighty one and the sun. Eyes and feet forward, pointed towards your destiny. The best is yet to come, so give God the glory. Daughter of a king, you reign supreme. You are queen.
Sorry about that. My mute was on. Kings and queens, welcome to the second portion of our show. Welcome to Poet to Poet. The voice you just heard was that of Cheryl Nicole Smith, a poet, a writer, an entrepreneur, and a beautifully, wonderfully created daughter of the Most High. Cheryl, thank you very much for being on the show today. It is a pleasure to have you here today. Thanks for accepting this invitation.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited, especially being that this is Women's History Month. So it's just an honor to be amongst you ladies. And of course, the gent, Mr. Kennard.
Thank you. Now, without further ado, we shall jump into the world of Candid, this memoir that you wrote. First off, I would like to say the title is on point. It did not register until I read the book and I got to a certain point and I put the book down. And then I looked at the cover and I'm like, wait a minute. Candid. Candid. It's then that I realized the double meaning of the title. Not just the straightforward, I'm going to tell you the truth and I'm going to say it straight out. But candid. You can and you did. And I really, really like that. So I have a question for you. My first question for you is, what is it about writing, about poetry, and about pouring your words out on paper that adds sunshine to your life? And what is it that pushes you to take what you have written and share it with others, using it as a tool to motivate and to inspire and to encourage others as well?
That's an excellent question. So I would say that I have always been an avid reader, and as an avid reader, I would escape some of the harsh realities of my circumstances, and I turned that as a reader. I naturally became a writer, and I would journal, I would write poetry, and I just use writing to release things that, I was holding in because I was a shy child. I didn't, talk much. I kind of bottled everything in, but when I wrote, I was free. And so I had the vision. God gave me the vision for Candid years ago. And I just was like, nope, I'm not telling these people this because, that's my business.
Yeah.
I came to a point where I was obedient, and I recognized that my story wasn't for me, it was for others, to inspire them, to encourage them, and to let them know that, he brought me through it, that he would bring them through it. And I'm glad that you picked up on the double meaning of candid, not just being frank and honest about my story and my experiences, but showing others that I can get through the things that should have probably buried me, and I did. So yeah, that was pretty much the inspiration behind the book, and why I love to write, just to release, to let it out.
I can totally relate with that. Writing, it just transforms you to another world, and I would highly recommend for anybody just in life. Just sometimes all you need to do is just pick up that pen and paper, whatever's in your heart, pour it out, and after that you just feel like a sense of relief and comfort. So I will, and a second question I will ask you, what in life is something that inspires you, or what is your source of inspiration, to keep on going and to, I guess, keep yourself motivated to help to motivate and inspire others?
That's an excellent question. I would say that I know that it's not just about me, Cheryl Nicole. I have other people who are counting on me, family, friends, my tribe that I'm building. And like, I'm very candid and honest about my experiences. I've experienced childhood trauma. I've experienced things that have molded me into the woman that I am today. And I wear it now as a badge of honor, because before I was ashamed about a lot of things that I experienced, but now it's a badge of honor because I overcame that. And I'm a spiritual woman. I'm not, I don't consider myself like a holy ruler or anything, but I have a relationship with God, and God sustains me. And it's like, I just won't shut up about that. So I'm always talking about the goodness of God and how He's keeping me. And yeah, I do it not for me, but for those who I know I am meant to inspire and encourage along this journey.
Okay, thank you. God definitely is also my source of inspiration. Without God, nothing is possible. That is one of my mottos. So now let's delve into some more candid poetry. The poet that we heard, Queen, is a beautiful, lovely, very inspirational poem. And your book is full of so many just awe-inspiring poems that I found I could relate to, and I know the reader could definitely be able to relate to. So let's go to some of these poems. It looks like we might have time for one or two. So I shall read a poem, and then I would like you, Cheryl, to briefly talk about the poem and give your intent and thoughts behind that poem, and then talk about how we, the audience, can gain something from this particular poem that you wrote. So the first poem that I will read is Candid. A candid recollection and telling of truths buried so deep, fighting ferociously to escape my memory. But God revealed and healed what was concealed and tried to kill me. Relentless anxiety, overthinking, fear, and depression caused me to hide behind a veil of perfection, masking my fear of rejection, minimizing the valuable lesson. My life is a blessing. No longer ashamed, my testimony, my story shall bring glory to His mighty name. Not seeking fame, simply want to inspire change. You can. I did. Our lights can no longer be dimmed. Shine bright, live boldly, purposefully, and wholly. Cheryl?
So, I would say the intention of that poem was to inspire readers that, it's not what you've been through, but, what you overcome. And that is your story. And your story is to be used for His glory. Um, and like I've experienced some things like, anxiety, depression, and fear. Um, and I lived in shame for a long time around those things because I felt that others couldn't relate. But when I opened up my mouth and told my story, it was just like amazing how it not only freed me, but it freed other people as well. Like I had family members who they wanted to share their story too. Or I came into contact with other women who wanted to share their story as well. So just like the purpose was fulfilled, I would say, because I released myself from that hurt, that pain, and everything that was bottling inside. And then in the process, I also feel like I, help other women realize they have permission to do so also. So that is just that poem Candid was just like pretty much like the summary, if you will, of the process of writing the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to read that poem last, but because of time, I was afraid I might not be able to get to any others. So I'm like, let me start with Candid first, because I also felt it was a summary of the whole book. But the next poem I will read is Savior. I refuse to let anyone or anything take me back to the place I prayed my way out of, escaping because of His love and help from above. Darkness enveloped me, anxiety, fear, and depression choked me, but the word provoked and woke me to His deep, immense love for me, evident in His never-ending grace and mercy. Not forsaken or condemned, although I was riddled with sin, He stretched His arms wide, allowing me to retreat and hide while healing the vast hole inside. Wiped the many tears I cried, brought to life the passion I thought had died, gave me back my hope, strength, and fire, promised me my testimony would inspire you to walk in your purpose and live out your truth.
So, yeah, I wrote that poem because, as I said, I'm a woman of God, and I've faltered in my walk with God. Like, there have been times where I'm like, I'm doing my own thing, and that doesn't last for too long, and I'm not successful in doing so. Because, like you said, without God, nothing is possible, but with God, all things are possible. So, that poem is just me talking about me getting back to a place where I am in a relationship with God, and
Mhm.
knowing that He never leaves me nor forsake me, even when I kind of give up on Him, turn my back on Him, that He doesn't do that. He doesn't treat me that way. And just knowing that, those things that I went through, like I remember being in a really dark place at one point in time, because I was experiencing homelessness and like just like filled with anxiety and depression and just like feeling constantly under attack. But I would write, I would read the word, I would listen to my gospel songs, and it's like I would feel relief and comfort. So that's where that poem came from. And it's just meant to inspire people. Not that you have to be, holy roll or holier than thou or what have you, but if you have a relationship with God and you know who He is and whose you are, like you can
Mhm.
do anything. You definitely can. So I hope that, that um, inspires people to seek Him and to also walk in their purpose, because I feel like I'm getting more clarity about why I'm here on this earth, and I know it's to inspire other people to fully live the purpose that He has set for their life. Yeah.
And do you feel that the more you write and the more you share, the more you feel more courageous to even write and share more? Do you have that feeling or experience?
Absolutely. Because it's like after writing Candid and then like doing different events where I'm sharing my poems, I'm, being interviewed like on different platforms. And I really have never liked to be in front of the camera. I've never liked to be, out in the open to begin with, but I'm becoming more comfortable with that. And now I find myself vlogging and I'm, working on different projects and just connecting with people. So I definitely feel like um, the door has opened, the floodgates have opened.
Yeah. Do you think you'll continue, right? Will you write something else in addition to the memoir? Any other poetry books or any other type of books that you are interested in being able to put to fruition?
Absolutely. My first book was a guided journal, and then Candid was my second book. And
Okay.
I recently published my children's book, which is
Ah,
an open love letter to my students. I'm a special education teacher, so I
okay.
wrote this book, and it's in verse form, but it's about highlighting their strengths of students with special needs. But yeah, I will continue to write. I actually have established my publishing company because I want to not only continue to write, but also help other authors, aspiring authors, to share their stories as well, whether it's a children's book, a memoir, or whatever genre it is. So I will absolutely continue writing.
Okay. Candy, I believe you had a question. You're muted.
I actually, had a question about her publishing, and just what that transition was like, and just to hear more about that and how she did it, because that's huge, and congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a journey. I published my first book 2 years ago, and my publishing company, Nor Publishing House, it was established almost 2 years to the date of the release of my first book. And it wasn't even that
Oh
wasn't
wow,
intentional. It was not even intentional.
that's nice.
And I've been fighting myself about the publishing company because I'm like, I know how to self-publish for myself, but I don't know how to do it for other people. God is funny because He's been putting people in my path, and it's like I already have my first two clients, and actually I can say more than two because I am working with someone on publishing their memoir. I'm working with another young lady on publishing a faith-based self-help book.
Okay.
And then I'm working on an anthology project, and it's just been a learning experience. It's been amazing. It's been challenging, it's stretching me. But I just know that I had some hiccups as a self-published author, and I learned some things in the process. And my goal is to help other self-published authors to do it more, seamlessly and without the headache and the hiccups as I had. So yeah, that's what I'm
That's
doing now.
awesome. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I think Rashida had a question.
Okay, so I see that you have on your shirt fearless. Does it say fearless woman or fearless female?
Yeah.
And I was wondering, I see that you're stretching yourself. You're doing a publishing company. What is next? Do you see, or are you going to currently continue to focus on the publishing company?
So Candy knows I wear many hats. I am I really want to focus. I have an educational services agency, and then I have a cleaning business as well. But right now, God has me at a place where I'm focusing on the publishing company. And like I said, I have these three projects that I'm working on simultaneously. And, some days I'm like, what are you doing? Other days I'm like, all right, this is what you're supposed to be doing. But what I want to do, April is Poetry Month. So I will be offering more interactive virtual read alouds for school communities. I've been doing that since December. That's why my background is so beautifully decorated for my lovely students. But yeah, so next month, April, I will be focusing on offering more of the virtual read alouds for school communities and even a poetry workshop where I work with them around creating acrostic poetry, just celebrating their own uniqueness because my children's book is about being unique. So yeah, that's up next.
I really wish that we had more time, but unfortunately, our time has come to an end. But I would love to encourage all of you listening, please make sure you pick up a copy of Candid. You will definitely be inspired by this wonderfully, beautifully written book. Cheryl, I would like to thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for coming on to this show. And may God continue to help you shine and fulfill the purpose that He has for you. And once again, to all of you listening, please pick up a pen, get some paper, and write whatever is on your heart. You will definitely not regret it. Definitely not regret. Thank you all for today, for coming on. Until next time, keep writing and keep the poetry alive. Take care, all. Candy, you're on mute.
Unmute your mic.
Sorry about that. Okay, yes. Thank you all for tuning into our Poet to Poet segment. We really appreciate you, Cheryl, for being here. And we look forward to more of your projects and congratulate you on all that you have going on. And just very excited for what you're doing and the service you're providing to other authors. Rashida?
I just wanted to say it was a pleasure, having this opportunity to just hear your story and hear how you've progressed and you continue to stretch yourself. And we look forward to it. And you never know, I might be your next client. So with the children's books, but let's keep in touch. And thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you, Cheryl, for being here once again, and also just I admire your just being courageous, just putting yourself out there, candid, and everything. And it's definitely inspiring to really kind of it's important for us to share ourselves and be transparent, so that we can help someone else that maybe feel like they're stuck or feel like they can't relate to anyone. So thank you for what you're doing. Unmute yourself, Candy.
I'm sorry. All right, Kadar, do you want to tell us what we have coming up?
Oh, absolutely. On March 21st, 2021, we have Wes Watkins. He's from the DMV. He's a musician extraordinaire. He's an author. He has some amazing things that he's working on that he just launched this month. So we definitely, I'll let him tell more about that, but looking forward to it. His band is called Got My Own Sound, and he's played, they backed up many people, many artists at the Blues Alley and many other venues that were open at one point, but they've moved to the virtual arena. So Wes Watkins is our next guest for the Poetry Podcast, March 21st, 2021.
Yes, sir. And then we will have the lovely ladies from the podcast called In the Doll World, Miss Tammy and Miss Georgette. They will be here on April 18th. Very much looking forward to that. It's going to be all about Barbies and baby dolls. So can't wait. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Be sure to stay safe, stay blessed, and keep creating. À la prochaine, mes amis.